Hello, thank you for joining us on the news. I'm Ruth Aguwele. My sign language interpreter is Taiwo Ozoma. Let's start with the headlines. President Tinubu postpones trip to G20 Leaders Summit, awaits further security briefings on kidnapped KB schoolgirls and attack on church worshippers. ECOWAS expresses concern about the growing threat of terrorism in West Africa. And court convicts and sentences one leader of Islamic State West African province, Husseini Ismaila, to 20 years imprisonment. President Bola Tinubu has postponed his scheduled trip to Johannesburg, South Africa, and Luanda, Angola, as he awaits further security briefings on the kidnapped KB school girls and the attack on Christ Apostolic Church worshippers in Eruku, Kwara State. In response to the request by the governor of Kwara State, President Tinubu has ordered the deployment of more security men to Eruku and the entire Ekiti local government area of the state, and directed the police to go after the bandits who attacked worshippers. President Tinubu was scheduled to leave Abuja today to attend the 20th G20 Summit of Leaders in South Africa and thereafter proceed to Luanda to attend the 7th AU-EU Summit. Disturbed by the security breaches in Kebbi State and Monday's attack by bandits against worshippers in Kwara State, President Tinubu decided to suspend his departure. He now awaits reports from Vice President Kashim Shettima, who paid a sympathy visit to Kebbi on his behalf, as well as reports from the police and the Department of State Services regarding the attack in Kwara. In a statement by the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, President Tinubu reiterates his directive to the security agencies to do everything possible to rescue the 24 schoolgirls abducted by bandits and bring the girls back home safe. And following the recent abduction of students from Government Day Comprehensive Secondary School, Maga in Kebbi State, the federal government has assured Nigerians of its steadfast commitment to securing the safe return of the abducted students. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who led a high-level delegation to express solidarity with the Kebbi State government and people, described the incident as both heartbreaking and unacceptable. Correspondent Abdul Mohammed Bawa reports.
As the nation continues to grapple with the abduction of Maga schoolgirls, expectations are mounting both nationally and internationally for their safe rescue. Vice President Kashim Shettima, while delivering President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's message, reaffirmed that no effort will be spared in tracking down the perpetrators and ensuring the students are safely returned. He commended the Kebbi State government for its support and disclosed that all relevant security agencies had been mobilized working around the clock under a coordinated national response strategy to guarantee the students' safe release.
Upon resolve in the face of evil, our priority is singular and unflinching. Our daughters must return home safely.
Governor Nasir Idris, while receiving the Vice President, said the state government is fully collaborating with security operatives and providing all necessary support to facilitate the search and rescue operation.
I thank you, Mr. President, to the Vice President, coming to us also to assure the parents that the government is doing everything possible to ensure the release of their daughters.
The delegation includes ministers, members of the House of Representatives, the APC National Chairman, and other top government officials. In Birnin Kebbi, Abdul Mohammed Bawa, NTA News.
In other news, President of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Aliou Omar Torre, has warned that terrorism has spread beyond the Sahel and Lake Chad Basin to threaten all of West Africa, with early warning data showing 450 attacks and more than 1,900 deaths in 2025. Dr. Torres spoke in New York, United States, during discussions at the United Nations Security Council on strengthening regional cooperation in the fight against terrorism in West Africa and the Sahel. He noted that extremist groups are also waging economic warfare by restricting fuel and crippling trade across the sub-region, stressing that in response, ECOWAS is accelerating deployment of its standby force, starting with 1,650 personnel and scaling up to 5,000 with regional and partner support. He cautioned that fragmented efforts and mistrust hinder cooperation and urged the Council to help rebuild confidence, secure predictable financing, and strengthen coordinated regional action. Guinea-Bissau's President Umaro Sissoco Embalo is confident he will easily win another term as he crisscrosses the country wearing meeting enthusiastic supporters ahead of Sunday's election. Embalo is the only second leader since the introduction of a multi-party system in the West African country to complete a full term without being ousted or killed. However, his term in office has been far from smooth sailing. A postponed election, a dissolved parliament, and several coup attempts have marked his presidency. With Guinea-Bissau's main opposition candidate, Domingo Simão Pereira, and his historic PAJIC party barred from the race due to late candidacy submissions, Embalo is heavily favored to win. Meanwhile, the ECOWAS Election Observation Mission has met with the National Election Commission of Guinea-Bissau ahead of legislative and presidential election. The meeting is part of stakeholders' engagement towards a free and credible election. The consultation reviewed the CNE's operational readiness, logistical arrangement, and institutional safeguards to ensure transparency, credibility, and inclusiveness. The medium and short-term mission deployed by ECOWAS Commission President Dr. Omar Aliou Touré under the ECOWAS Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance continues consultation with governmental authorities, political actors, civil society, security institutions, and international partners. Turning our attention back home, Ministry of Regional Development has unveiled a comprehensive climate action plan for all 6 regions under its mandate, covering 2025 to 2030. The plan, designed to attract investments and tackle the severe climate impacts hitting the Niger Delta and other vulnerable areas, was launched on the margin of COP30 in Belém, Brazil, by the Minister of Regional Development, Abubakar Momo. Charles Alpha reports.
Decades of oil pollution in the Niger Delta and severe land degradation in vulnerable communities have left the ecosystem in ruins and disrupted the livelihoods of millions. Unveiled on the sidelines of COP30 in Belém, Brazil, the 2025-2030 plan focuses on attracting climate-smart investments to restore degraded ecosystems, improve livelihoods, and strengthen resilience across communities most affected by environmental damage. For the Niger Delta, the document provides a clear framework to address persistent oil spills, gas flaring, contaminated farmlands, and polluted waterways that have crippled fishing and agriculture.
The document presented is not only for Niger Delta area, it is for the entire 6 regions in the country. So in that document is more or less an action plan. It gives a framework, what we want to do, how to get it done, and the implementation strategy.
Minister of Regional Development, Abubakar Momo, warned that without a coordinated action plan, the region's environmental crisis will continue to undermine national climate targets. The plan offers a pathway for remediation, clean energy transition, and job creation across affected states. He said that the ministry is working with development partners and private investors to support large-scale cleanup and restoration projects.
The area, I want development partners to come in as far as Niger Delta is concerned. You and I know that in the Niger Delta area, we are faced with oil pollution and gas flaring. So in the area of gas flaring, if something is done in order to make sure that the gas flaring is stopped, in order to prolong the life for the citizenry, it will be very good.
For the regional development, the plan will not only strengthen Nigeria's climate response, but also help rebuild trust and expand opportunities for millions whose lives have been shaped by decades of oil exploration. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
So we hear the spirit of resilience, unity, and one indivisible nation echoed thousands of miles away in Belém, Brazil, as Nigeria marked its special day. At the Nigerian pavilion, Nigerians and non-Nigerians gathered to celebrate an iconic tradition observed at every cup. But beyond the colorful cultural attires, focus was on Nigeria's role in blending cultural identity with the global fight against climate change. Again, let's hear from Charles Alpha.
From the Tibo attire of the Niger Delta to the Isiago of Southeast and the flowing Babangida of the North, Nigerians from across regions, along with many international guests, gathered to witness the 2025 Nigerian Day in Belém. It was a moment that captured resilience, cultural pride, and national unity. But beyond the colorful display, the day marked a celebration of progress, from key policy milestones to bankable climate projects that Nigeria is showcasing at COP30. This was the essence of the Nigerian Day, a blend of culture, reflection, and a renewed commitment to a sustainable future.
Everybody came here and we are one strong, firm, united Nigeria in the spirit of true patriotism.
It's actually bring about people from different parts of the world that are Nigerians, because this has actually brought a lot of persons that actually don't know there's a pavilion.
Far from home, the theme of resilience, unity, and a shared national identity resonated strongly among Nigerians and non-Nigerians who gathered for the event.
So it's an opportunity for us to sell to the world our cultural values and also, cultural exchange in some ways for us to understand ourselves, especially here in Brazil where we have, Nigerian roots.
The tool for us to implement the Paris Agreement is the NDC. And so we have
Beyond the fanfare, government representatives used the platform to highlight Nigeria's ongoing work at COP30. This includes pushing for increased climate finance, advancing discussions on adaptation support, and presenting key national initiatives aimed at reducing vulnerability across regions.
We are all here to share ideas, to share experiences, and to also see what we can do in our own little corners to mitigate the change in climate. What we have done today, I think we go a long way to addressing some of the problems we have identified across the various regions.
For many here, this day serves as a reminder that Nigeria's climate journey is shaped by its people, their creativity and resilience, and that their determination to create a safer and greener future is unparalleled. In Belém, Brazil, Charles Alpha, NTA News.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he is designating Saudi Arabia as one of 20 major non-NATO allies around the world. This was at a gala where he hosted the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Prama Pai reports.
This marks the first visit by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed ibn Salman to the White House in 7 years, with his previous trip having taken place in 2018. During the visit, he was received by President Donald Trump with full presidential honors. The discussions centered on strengthening U.S.-Saudi bilateral trade and diplomatic relations, with particular emphasis on promoting peace and stability in the Middle East and the key roles between nations play in the region. In a surprise announcement at the evening gala dinner, President Trump declared that he was designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally, one of only 20 countries worldwide to receive this status. Trump also revealed that he has urged President Mohammed to normalize relations with Israel through Abraham Accords as part of broader efforts to transform the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas in Gaza into a durable region-wide peace.
Thank you very much. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that we are taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally, which is something that is very important to them, and I'm just telling you now for the first time because I wanted to keep a little secret for tonight.
The Saudi Crown Prince expressed his desire to join the Abraham Accords, Trump's signature diplomatic achievement from his first term, but stressed that this will require a clear path towards the establishment of a Palestinian state.
Today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we are signing today in many areas in technology, in AI, in earth materials, magnet, etc., that will create a lot of investment opportunities.
The two countries concluded the visit by signing a series of agreements, including a decade-long civil nuclear cooperation pact, according to the White House. Prince Mohammed has cultivated a close relationship with President Trump and his family over the years, bolstered by significant Saudi investment commitment to the former property billionaire turned U.S. president. Frama Panyi, NTA News.
We'll take a break now. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. Cross River State Governor Basi Otto says plans are on ground to transform Tinapa Business and Leisure Resort into a vibrant hub of commerce, information and communication technology, spinning thousands of jobs while operating under a transparent and accountable management structure. Let's hear from Justina Etim.
The Tinapa Business and Leisure Resort, a once vibrant facility that contributed to boosting the state's economy and placing it on the global tourism map, had gone moribund for years. However, keeping with his promise to revitalize all failed government assets, Governor Basi Otto is signing an agreement with the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, officially taking possession of the facility after fulfilling certain financial obligations.
We are determined to ensure that Tinapa becomes not just a free zone, but a free zone of excellence, one that demonstrates what visionary governance, sustained commitment, and shared responsibility can achieve. To our investors and partners, we say Tinapa is open again. To our people, we say Tinapa is ours again. And to Nigeria, we say Tinapa will rise again, as a symbol of renewed faith in our collective future.
We are considering options in forward integration in the agri sector, in manufacturing, in warehousing, in IT training, a lot of options that we are looking at. But of course, because Calabar is that place, is that tourist place where we want to come and live and be at rest, we'll still have a tourist hotel.
We tried to do a JV with private investors. We couldn't get many people to be interested, so I think working with the government was the best solution for us, and we basically went back and forth with the Cross River State government, and we are very happy that we were able to get a resolution.
The return of Tinapa is poised to restore pride to the state, ushering in a new era of prosperity. In Calabar, Justina Etem, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has approved new appointments in key government agencies. In a statement, redeployment of 16 serving permanent secretaries, and in a statement signed by the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, D.D. Esther Wilson Jack, those affected are as follows: Engineer Funsho Adebiyi from Works to Transportation, Dr. Ibrahim Abubakar Kana from Aviation and Aerospace Development to General Services Office, Dr. Yakubu Adam Kofar Mata from Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction to Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mrs. Unko Asanye Esuabana from Innovation, Science and Technology to Women Affairs, Mr. Richard Filangwa from Water Resources and Sanitation to Defense, Mr. Raymond Omenka Omachi from Finance, that is Special Duties Office, to Finance to understudy Mrs. Lydia Shehu. Dr. Deborah Onyi Damola Odo from Service Policies and Strategies Office to Budget and Economic Planning. Mr. Olubumi Olusonya from Youth Development to Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction. Dr. Emeka Vitalis Obi from Petroleum Resources to Federal Civil Service Commission. Mrs. Fatima Tabia Mahmoud from Career Management Office to Marine and Blue Economy to understudy Mr. Olufemi Michael Oloruntola. Dr. Emanso Umobong from Cabinet Affairs Office to Water Resources and Sanitation. Dr. Miriam Ismaila Keshenro from Women Affairs to Youth Development. Mr. Indiomu Philip from Federal Civil Service Commission to Innovation, Science and Technology. Engineer Nadungu Gagara from Economic and Political Affairs to Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy. Mrs. Oyekunle Patience Nwankuso from Service Welfare Office to Petroleum Resources. Mr. Adeladon Rafiu Olarinre from Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy moved to Works. Now, the redeployment takes effect from today, Wednesday, 19th November. And the same development, President Bola Tinubu has approved new appointment in key government agencies. Honorable Musa Serkin Adar has been redeployed to serve as Executive Secretary of Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, while Mukhtar Shehu Shagari has been appointed as the new chairman of the National Inland Waterways Authority. In a statement, President Tinubu urged the newly appointed officials to be patriotic and leverage their experience to drive transparency, accountability, and effective service delivery. The appointment takes immediate effect. The Federal High Court Abuja Division has convicted and sentenced one of the leaders of the Islamic State West African province, ISWAP, Hussaini Ismaila, to 20 years imprisonment. Justice Emeka Nwete gave the order in a summary judgment after Ismaila, a.k.a. Metangarang, pleaded guilty to a 4-count terrorism charge brought against him by the Department of State Services for alleged terrorism during the arraignment. The prosecution told the court that Ismaila was the coordinator of the 2012 attacks on police headquarters in Bompai, Kano State, Mobile Police Base, Kabuga Road, Kano State, Farm Center Police Station, Kano State, and Wauku Police Station, Kano State, among other places, in which many were injured. Now, the trial suffered delays resulting from appeals and the conduct of a trial within trial to ascertain the voluntariness of the defendant's extrajudicial statements. When trial eventually opened, the prosecution called 5 witnesses, including 2 DSS officials and 2 eyewitnesses to some of the attacks. Ismaila, who had earlier pleaded not guilty during his arraignment, changed his plea to guilty after the testimony of the 5th prosecution witness. The application of practical knowledge rather than theoretical dependency is key in a country like Nigeria towards achieving developmental strides. These professionals maintained at the 13th Convocation Lecture organized by the leadership of Now University of Nigeria, which was held in Abuja. Francis Udoja reports.
The lecture, titled Redefining the Nigerian Education System for the 21st Century Workforce, did not only identify over-dependency on theoretical knowledge as a challenge to the current education system, but also inadequate infrastructure and outdated curriculum. UNESCO statistics indicating that Nigeria possesses the highest number of out-of-school children worldwide, with approximately 20 million children lacking basic education, is much concerned, especially now that the world is relying on technological knowledge in advancing industries that could largely boost the overall growth of any nation. Resource person at the lecture, who doubles as the Executive Secretary of TET Fund and the Vice Chancellor of Nile University, Professor Dili Dogo, encouraged leaders, to focus on curriculum harmonization.
In the past, we have produced graduates and given them certificates as meal tickets to go and look for employment. But the real needs of industry today is that we need graduates who are equipped with the right skill set that they can fit immediately into the workplace. So we need to identify the real skills gaps in our economy.
We just want Nigeria and Nigerians to understand that whether we like it or not, contemporary education must reflect expectations of the future. Because most of the skills we have today will be obsolete very soon. So until we redefine or reimagine education, and now creatively and innovatively make education available to the youth, the country will not succeed. But when we do that, the country will be better for it.
That will incorporate technology and entrepreneurship, particularly in an area dominated by artificial intelligence. Leveraging ICT while increasing education funding, promoting digital literacy while taking a leave from countries like Kenya and Rwanda that have prioritized education will break the ice for Nigeria in meeting global education standards. Nile University, the scholars say, has taken a bold step with the launch of its business school. Francis Udojo, NT News.
That concludes the news. Thank you for your time. I'm Ruth Aguwele. My sign language interpreter is Taiwo.